Welcome to part 24 on our little Sigma makeover. I'm still not calling it a restoration, it's probably really a refurbishment more than anything else, but I'm using an idiot sheet. Right, someone sent me a message to say I hope this doesn't turn into 45 parts. There's no content for 45 parts. I'm tipping there's going to be 2 more parts, 2 more videos. There's quite a lot of work to do left remaining. I've got to clean the wheels and get the tyres fitted, but we can't make a video on cleaning wheels, or at least I'm not going to. And we've also got to rebush the rear end. And I did a bit on the front end. It's just a matter of taking the arms off, taking them into work, pressing them out, putting new ones in. I don't think there's any content in that either. A lot of small bits and pieces. The boot seal, the Bailey channels, fitting front speakers, tie rod ends, that sort of stuff. There's probably a video just in doing those things, plumbing the washers and fitting wiper blades. I mean, we can't really film that stuff. But this one's mainly on the dash and the brakes. I've decided to replace pretty much everything in the brakes. The dash has thrown me there's been a few issues with that because every new car, or every car when it's new, has a certain amount of pampering done to it. And I think what's happened with this is someone's used a dash protectant to clean it. A lot of those plastics that have a sort of a grain pressed into them are very, very difficult to clean out. And I've used wax and grease, I've used detergents, everything on it, and I had about 3,000 fish eyes all through the center section and on the glove box and all this sort of stuff. When I repainted it, it was hellish. And it'll be silicone. People use silicone, they put it in cheap polish to watch water bead off and all this sort of stuff. It's an enemy where it comes to recoating things later on. So I've had a lot of trouble with that. But the dash is finished in this video and the brakes are almost finished. You know, as far as content's concerned, I don't think there's much left. There's basically 2 videos left. So there's the few little small things, the final touches, that sort of business. And then we go off and get a front end alignment done and the exhaust done, and then off for everything. So from there, I've got a few things I need to do. There's not much, there's probably 2 videos left on the 750, unless something goes wrong, and same with the Sigma. And the 350, there's a few, maybe 3 videos or something, or 4. I've got to rebuild the engine, and I'm forgetting how it went together. So I've got to try and remember. And so I want to get into that, get that engine rebuilt. The XL250 motor of Dave's, still waiting on the crank. I don't know why this guy's taking forever and a day, but he is. He's had the stuff there for months. So that's another one I want to get all together because I'm forgetting. So it needs to be done. So a couple of bike videos coming up. Phil Rule sent me or gave me a gasket kit and a set of pistons for the 350, and I've got to get the thing bored. So I do want to there's a few other bits I need to get for that too. So I want to get the bikes finished, and that will give me the rest of the year to finish the XC. There's still the front guards to do and lots of bits and pieces. The XC is quite expensive because it'll need the rear bumper redoing. I've got to find a front bumper for it, get the headlights resilvered. There's all sorts of bits and pieces on that are quite pricey yet. But the aim is to get everything finished by the end of the year. Don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. So this is part 24 of the Sigma. I hope you enjoy. Right, so we've got the dash cluster ready to go back in. This is the one Harvey custom made. It's a beautiful piece, and it's got a few bits and pieces in it that it wasn't built with, because he made it out of several other ones. I just had to put that tag feed in, or trigger, and I've just emailed him to make sure, or at least text him to make sure that's all good. So I'm just going to put this to one side. So I'm completely paranoid about damaging this. Is that door in the way? So I'm putting it back in the car. I can't open the door all the way because it's going to hit the Commodore. I thought the speedo cable was going to fall short, but I forgot the speedo's on the left. One thing about these older cars is they're so bloody comfortable sitting in here. It's got lovely soft seats and all this sort of stuff. When you compare it to a more modern car, but I suppose they make them firmer to prevent fatigue, driver fatigue and this sort of stuff, so they're ultimately safer. But for around the local village with its power steering and everything, this is going to be a lovely little thing to drive around. So I'll just finish putting this in. I will put that hood on. The hood's not much good. It has it's got a broken clip on the right hand side, but I don't think that matters. Look, we'll just get around that somehow, and it should be fine. I'm not in the least perturbed by it. Let's do these 2 up and we're out of it. And didn't he do a lovely job with this? It looks absolutely beautiful. It's got its original mileage there. We're going to have a new looking car with 232,000 on it, but you've got to be honest about these things. So of course we're going to be looking for a new one of these. But this will keep it safe and sound. Because I don't remember how the hell the thing goes. It sort of snaps in like that. There we go. All looking really super good. This looks awesome. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Light's terrible as usual, but you can see it looks absolutely wonderful, and we've also got that little turbo light for later on. So I'm well happy with how this is going. Now I want to flick my attention to the glove box and everything, so we'll go back to the bench and have a look what we've got to do there. I bought a GE Sigma fascia, if you like, and pulled it apart to do some repairs. I don't know if you can see over there. Yeah, these two repairs here. It's a bit disappointing that someone's completely destroyed in this area here. There's a fascia that goes over a non-genuine radio. There's a seller on eBay selling an original radio for $100, and I'm just not paying that. I think it's ludicrous for the lame radio, but there you go. Which probably wouldn't be much good anyway because it's been so badly hacked. It's actually worse than the one that came off the vehicle, which is this blue one over here. Now I've left this in one piece and I've taken the GE one apart, and it's going to be a case basically of picking the best components that we've got in order to make one. This one does vary in the sense that it has a lamp at the bottom under there which lights up that cubby hole, which I've referred to in the past as well. The loom is threaded in. It's actually quite a not a complicated way, but it's just different the way it's been routed. So I'm going to leave it all intact, this one particularly, just so I can see when I put that together, because I pulled this apart a long time ago. Now, these are all painted. It's easy to see here where there's a little bit of overspray, and also on this part here, which sort of fits down there to cover the side of the radio, there's overspray all over it. These were originally produced in black. So we've got the paint. We can go ahead. We can use the best bits of Watt, and that will hopefully net us the best result. Now, in addition, we've got a couple of ashtrays. The GE one and its appropriate carrier. It's broken there where someone's been really aggressive putting a cigarette out. I don't know. And we've got this one from the wrecker, which has had a cigarette in it. You can see there's a bit of ash there, but it is quite clean. This will clean up a lot better than what that one will, as well as the one that came out of the vehicle. So I've got 3 ashtrays, and all we're going to do, use the carrier from that, and these covers actually detach. That one's broken, and we'll just use the best of the ones we've got. I'll probably just use that and paint it accordingly. Whatever the case, this is unusable, the original one, just because it's just so badly cracked. I mean, it is usable, I suppose, but I just don't want to. It's cracked here. That doesn't look too bad, and of course it's destroyed in that area there. Now I've got the side piece for the dash. This is the original one from the car. This button's been removed for a fader switch. On the turbos, your choke goes there, and this is of course a headlight dimmer. And this is the one from the car at the wreckers, and you can see it's pretty well in shabby type of condition, but again, it's just been painted. But it's in much better shape. We haven't got those cracks up there where it mounts at the top, and it's in much better condition. So we'll take this switch out. That would probably come good with some contact spray, but we'll just use it as a spare. The original one looks to be in better shape. And of course the glove boxes you already know about. This one's in good shape because it's still got all its mounting tongues there, where these are all broken off. And if you remember in the first video, you could bang it, it would just rattle around. This one doesn't look to be as nice as the one we had, but the actual glove box interior is in very good condition, so that's good. That is actually part of the whole moulded thing. We can take the door off pretty easily, strip it down again. We'll use the best of what we've got. That sticker there doesn't look as good as the original one, and even the badge, we might be able to just dunk that onto a silver bed, if you know what I mean, and make the writing so it's more visible. But again, we'll just pick the best of what we've got and run with that. So there's our dash parts all stripped down and ready to be painted. Mitsubishi masked off these in that they're black in these sorts of areas, and also in the glove box. they're not like a Ford in that the glove box liner is was sort of moulded into the whole one piece, if you know what I mean. So you can clean all this stuff up, mask it and paint it. Now, this really doesn't need painting. That'd probably clean up quite well, but by the time we paint this, it's going to stand out. So we're sort of stuck with the notion of doing it, as well as that bit over there. These stickers here are metallic, and they're absolutely horrible things to try and get off. They're very, very difficult. They are... Where's the other one? Hang on a sec. I tried to heat them up, I tried to do this, tried to do that. They just tear when you try and remove them. And they're the ones I'm sort of talking about. Now, I've never seen these for sale, and the one thing I don't like doing is masking and painting around stickers. It's just something I really don't like doing. I found the fella who sold the Astron stickers, the sticker kit for the engine bay and so forth, his work is that good. It's brilliant. And you wouldn't, if you stuck them in a Chrysler bag with genuine parts, you wouldn't pick them from original. They're those metallic stickers. They're wonderful. Anyhow, I've contacted him and he can make a set for me. So if you need them, get in contact with him. His name's Hutch, and he sells, if you on eBay, if you type in Astron 2000 stickers or Sigma stickers or whatever, you'll see his ads. And he's brilliant. And he's going to make a set of those. So that means I've been able to sort of, we take them off, and I can paint these things properly and then reapply them. As far as this is concerned, that's been chopped up, but the radio fascia does fit. The problem is this bit here, this silver bit. Now that's easy. I can mask that off with fine line tape and just brush it. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to paint that because the radio fascia doesn't fit all that well, and I don't want this sort of showing from behind. It'll highlight the fact that the wrong radio's in there, if you know what I mean. You're going to see it anyhow, but look, that is easy to do. But I'm not going to do it on this. I'm going to paint the whole thing blue. Now, the other thing I want to look at in this chapter are the brakes. And you can see this caliper's had a big weed because it's upside down. Everything I do on these cars, so far as brakes are concerned, is I use new brakes and ring it. And that's Peter, and he's wonderful. Now, these Sigma calipers are the same as Commodore. Or they use the same rebuild kit and pads as early Commodores do, which is really good because it's all low priced, affordable stuff. So we're going to re-kit these. We'll take the pistons out. I'm not sure what they're like. I'm expecting them to be sort of moderately okay. And again, we've had a wee, but it doesn't matter. Now the master on this car, I am dubious about because they're not that cheap to buy. This one hasn't leaked, but rebuilding them, you've got to do your proportioning stuff in here and the main part of the master cylinder. But the thing that worried me most was the fact that as I took the lid off, that's dirty, but that's really bad. It's got a lot of rusty residue in there. And I'm tipping if I pull this apart, it's going to need to be sleeved. There's a lot of corrosion going on in there. That looks, yeah, that's the rear circuit. This is the front one. So by the time you re-sleeve it, it's just cheaper to buy a new one. And the fact that my son has expressed some desire to drive this car around, I don't want to muck around with this. It was just a little banger to get roadworthy again. I would just try and repair it, I guess, but because it's got my kit in it, and you know we're going to be using the car, I think I'll just chuck that and put a new one on. But in this chapter we will pull these apart too and see what parts we need for them. Now I've taken the steel lines to be re-flared and all that sort of stuff. There's ball flares and double flares and all sorts of stuff on them. This is one of the front brake lines, which is, I don't know if you can see there, it's all sort of split. These things do have a way of collapsing on the inside as well, and I've given him these two and he will make new ones. But also the two short bits, they're a two-piece line. He's going to make new ones of those too, might as well. The rear one did look alright, but I'll re-evaluate that. I'm pretty sure it flows quite well, so it might not need replacing, but really the whole lot should be done. So all this stuff will be here on Monday. Today's Saturday, so we can hammer along, get all the steel lines put in, and we can also then put all the wiring back in the engine bay and the air cleaner on and all that sort of stuff. So a lot's happening. I'm pretty sure I didn't drop any brake fluid or anything, but we'll just give this a bit of a wipe down and get those painted parts, bring them up here, and we'll have a bit of a look at those again. Rightio. iPad box, let's have a look. We'll spray paint some silver on it and see if we can get our Sigma badge looking a bit better. Kind of. We missed the top of the M, which is rather dumb. Let's go again, hey? The letters are kind of embossed, but they're not hugely embossed. There goes the dog. Kind of looks average, but we'll try it. See how it dries. Well, this is absolutely awful. I've battled about 30,000 fish eyes in this thing. It's still wet. I've primed it and painted it a few times. This bit from the wrecker turned out beautifully. It's dry, touch dry. These other bits are drying now. Everything that was black, the ashtray cover, and this centerpiece was just covered. It was awful. You can see it all in there. It's no good. I've got to do it again. Glove box was affected, but I managed to get out of that. I've even done this button, so I can unmask that. It's done. And that's turned out alright. That was fish-eyed as well, but I managed to curb that. I used a plastic primer, which I don't normally use. I normally use a conventional one, but this one sort of sealed it up nicely. That bit there was covered as well, but we've got out of that. So I've just put a little bit of contact adhesive along here, and you shouldn't really leave old cotton buds laying around, because when they're dried up it looks like you never clean your ears. These are notoriously easy to break, these chrome parts, and I broke one on the other glove box, and then I just abandoned ship on the new one. When I painted it, I just masked it basically. The chrome parts in this, the veins in these, I haven't cleaned these very well at all. I've just wiped them because they break so easily. The plastics in these cars don't seem to be all that great in terms of resilience. I probably should have given that a bit more curing time, but I can't see that coming off. I think it's going to be fine. Before and after shot. I've made up a new set of dash plastics out of, well, the 3 other cars, or the 2 other cars, the one from the wrecker and also the GE Sigma that was, the parts were sent to me. Old glove box door. This is the old glove box, of course, it's pretty obvious. I've made up new vents out of bits, if you know what I mean, the ones that weren't working very well. There's bits and pieces there, and changed out some globes. This is all the worst of the stuff I had left over. You know, the dirty ashtray. I can't find the blue ashtray that was out of this car. I've lost it. I don't know what I've done with it. Changed out some globes, and that's about it. So I'll show you what I've been doing with the new stuff. Oh, one more thing. That was the badge that I dunked, and it didn't work out well, and I couldn't work out why, and I got a magnifying glass and I could see it's actually damaged, which is the reason the paint didn't sit in the right spot. Doesn't look much different from where you are, but this is all the new stuff. As I said, I've painted in here because the new fascia, or the one off the non-genuine radio, covers that, and I didn't want to see any silver or anything around there. That can be changed later if we need to. Cigarette lighter's made up of 2. The other handle was pretty knackered, but it had a good core which hasn't been used, and cleaned up all in here and done all that sort of stuff, so that's all cool. Put that on. Ashtray looks to have not been used, which is cool. That's how we want it. Looking really, really good. I'm happy with that. That's the demister switch from the GE. It was just cleaner and all that sort of business. We've changed all the lights out, done that sort of thing. The side pod you know about. We're waiting on the stickers, as we said before. I've even painted that. That goes there for automatic choke or non-turbo cars, and also this one's got a fader there, but I did that just on the off chance I need it. I probably don't, but what do you do? And the glove box. You can see that badge looks a heck of a lot better. Whoops, sorry. This is, and also this one's going to have that sticker there too. Alright, well hopefully I don't do any damage to it. I think that's about right. I'm not sure if the cigarette lighter, the hood there might be too tight where the globe is, where the light is for it. Doesn't look like it fits too well. You just don't get much grace with these things. They're quite brittle. It's missing that tab there. And I want to see if I can get the radio in from behind. I've sort of left some things loose. Oh yeah, that looks like it goes in alright. Just got to sort of shoehorn it in, I guess. Just being really, really careful with it. I only painted it this morning, and because I was worried about the, I was worried about the finish on it. Now if I pop that up there, I've also got washers behind there too, because I wanted to spread the load a bit, so I sort of adhered washers up there. If that's in, I don't think that's even in properly. Right. That's got to sit in a bit there. It's still got a wave up there. I can't do much about that. Putting that in though, it looks like it's supposed to have washers underneath these bottom tongues, which is the reason the other ones would have broken. So I'll just get the screws and put that in then. Okay, now we've got a fitting issue here, which I don't like. Dimmers in, faders in. Yeah, you can see that, yes. Those holes are still there. What do you do? Got these guys to put in. Those ones, and that goes up there, and that's all working. Awesome. We're still got a bow there though, and it's just the way it is. I can't do much about that. That bracket I'm taking off, and I'm going to put the radio in from behind and brace it up to the frame, so it's not reliant on hanging here. And that looks dreadful, that bit there. But once the radio's in and that's all tied up, I think it's going to be all right. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. Ashtray, Mickey Mouse, all good. Cigarette lighter I'm really proud of. Did I show you that? Probably did. The font on the glove box looks alright. I lubricated that roller detent thing there, so that's all good. So I haven't put the parcel tray underneath because I still have to get under there. I'll take that vent back off again to put the heater hoses on, and that can go on. And of course that little garnish thing there goes behind here to hide the side of the radio, so that's cool. And the console can go last. And I'm hoping the console doesn't scream. It doesn't look too out of place and all that sort of stuff. But I'm very happy with this. I think it looks really nice, and still got a wire up down there. So that side pod there might end up coming off again. But I'm not fussed. I can do that anytime. I'm really not too bothered with that. But I'll pull the console out of the Ford. It's in the boot of the XW, and I'll clean that up. Might have to paint it, but I don't want to. That's not too good. What have we got going on here? I have to fiddle around with that too, I think. But she is looking very much more like a Sigma. Parts bounty. Got the new Master, which has the switch in it, which is cool. Rear wheel cylinders, there's two different types of these, so you have to give you a month and year on those. Front brake pads, these are the lines that he made up, there's three of them. This is the shortest, which fits on this bench, so it's cool. And these are the other ones, which there's a pair of front ones, and each front one is a 2-piece. So he's made those up for us, which is great. Caliper overhaul kits and pistons, which is really, really cheap to get. I don't know if we need the pistons for the front calipers yet, but it can't hurt to put them on. But yeah, as I said, they were ridiculously cheap, so I just thought I'd get them anyway. And a gear shift knob, which I cleaned, which is out of the car anyway. So I guess we'll start by putting this on, because then we can map out where our brake lines go. You get a good idea how everything's going to go in and up and all that sort of stuff. And we'll just stick some nuts on. And anyway, these in with some sort of tiny resolver. I haven't got any tools for bending these, only a large radius, so I'm doing it all sort of with my fingers and gardening gloves. That one will sit reasonably tidily. The other one that comes from the front, I'm going to have to go under it. If I go too far this way, it sort of takes up a lot of real estate for later on. But you get one crack at this, if it kinks, it's no good, you've got to start again. So there's some clamps and some bits of hardware that sort of hold this on. There's a junction that goes there, and that's how it came out. So just persevering with it, really. Brake calipers, right. Okay, so these are really dangerous, or potentially dangerous. I'm just going to stick a block of wood there and get some compressed air. I don't think these were seized or anything, so it might not be as bad as what we're thinking. I'm just going to pop a rag over that, and where the heck does the air go? It goes on this side. Oh, I'll try that. I thought it would come straight out, and I was invariably wrong. There we go. And that will stop it from just running out everywhere. Might have to give it another hit. I think we will. We just need a slightly thinner bit of wood. Try that. And we don't want, this is empty, this one, but sometimes they do, there we go. Sometimes they do let go of a whole mist of brake fluid, if you know what I mean. It's quite difficult to get out. And that piston's actually in reasonable nick. It doesn't look too bad. It'll probably clean up, but I've got new ones anyhow. Inside, that's alright. We'll just take that to work, clean him up in the bath, and there's a lot of sludge in there. So it's a good thing we're doing this. We don't want that sort of muck in there. So I'll get the other one and do the same thing. Listen to those stupid birds. First problem, these bleeder nipples, what we've had happen is it's just broken clean off. This is a different type of metal. So you get the electrolysis, but it's the first time I've had success with an easy out, and I'm guilty of just filming when I've had success. I didn't show you the hardship. There wasn't really one to speak of because all I did was basically just drill it out, and we got a hole there now, which is cool, totally undamaged. So I've put a cable tie on each of one side so I can see where they go, and that little guy, I'll go and see Pete and see if he's got another one. Very easy to get the drilling centrally because there's a hole there anyhow, so you can't really mess it up. But I think we'll just get a couple of new ones. I will take these into work tomorrow and put them in a parts wash. This is aluminium, the bracket's cast, but they'll clean up. I'm not going to have it so they're nice and shiny and paint them and all this. I'll just take the dirt off and make sure they're clean in there, and we'll just rebuild them. Right, so here are our parts. We're going to wash the caliper housings and brackets. There's a sample of the rear linings. I've got the new hose there. I need copper washers for those, a couple of those. That's the XC's banjo bolt for the front calipers. Need 4 copper washers for that. And of course a sample of the nipple, and we'll get a couple of new nipples. So hopefully we have that all done tomorrow. So rebuilding the calipers is pretty easy. Very straightforward. We can start putting all this together. These are quite horrible to put together. Just because of lack of room at the top when you go to push the piston in. We've got the seal kit somewhere. Here it is here. And I need those two guys for now. And this stuff here, which is rubber grease. And it is, if we look at that line there, this product has been developed for use with automotive brake assemblies, and it is castor oil based, not mineral based. You don't want that stuff. So Bosch have overtaken PBR, and PBR are the mob who used to make it. Well, they probably still do, but the company was absorbed. That's an old tube of it there. A lot of people say you can't use it. You've got to use brake fluid as a lubricant, but brake fluid is not a lubricant. Brake fluid is brake fluid. So let me just get that in there like that. Alright, and that sits in like that with another little smear on top. So while that sits there and does very little, I've got to take this piston out and give it a clean. Right, clean piston. Almost. Okay. More rubber grease, and we're going to go around the piston body like this, and this seal is going to sit like that. So the easiest way to do this is to wind him on and then push him down. And this is where these become challenging. Hang on, come down. You just want it to drop off like a skirt at the bottom, and that lip there has to go into this one around here. Now normally that's quite easy to do, but on this one I don't think it is. Right. And the reason it's not easy is because you've got very limited room. On a Ford, this is dead easy. On this thing, pain in the neck. So we've got to squeeze that in so it goes into that groove. And we want to turn him around to make sure it's in on that side too, and I'm not sure that it is. No, I don't think it is. Oh, it might be. Hang on. Hang on a minute. It's probably not too bad. So then we've just got to, whoops, get onto the seal. And I'm on the seal now. And push it in with our fingers. Pardon me. Nice and easy like that. And that's it. Right, so then we get our little bag of tricks. I'm replacing both of the nipples. That was the one that broke. So it doesn't turn as easily as the other one did. So I've obviously burred the thread a bit, but it's still very much functional, so that's cool. And on top of that goes a nipple cover. A slippery rubber cover. So get on there, you son of a gun. There we go, that's the main part of it done. So we've got these little guys which screw in like that, and there's a copper washer that goes in there. The intermediate joints have flares in them, but that's about it. I'm just waiting for the caliper bodies to dry because I've sort of thrown a bit of clear coat on them because I had them hydroblasted as well. Can we see? Can we see? I think we can see. Right, so rebuilt calipers are here. They've been hydroblasted as well, and I've just put a bit of clear on there. Stop them rusting. I don't want some rattle can silver. I hate that. Even though these do look rattle can, they're not. So they're just finger tight. Not a problem there. Here are the lines here and the washers which go into the back of those, and brake linings for the back. Wheel cylinders you've seen. These pads, they're very, very good. These are again through new brakes. These are the lower price ones too. You get Bendix, which is very expensive. These have the brake grease that already come with them to stop them squealing and that sort of stuff. So I'm stoked with those. Again, this is all through new brakes, even with the sticker. So I use them for pretty much everything. The calipers were extremely reasonable. To clean everything up was $35, and you know these were a mess. So they were really, really dirty. And I got that done through Fantry Gully hydroblasting, and of course got the bolts there. So I reckon I'm out of time for this video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bang these on the car, and those, and the wheel cylinders, bleed the brakes, and we're nearly finished, guys. There's just a few other bits and pieces, and we're off for roadworthy. So one more video after this, and then the final one I reckon will do it. So on that note, I'll say thanks very, very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves, enjoy your classic, and I shall see you around.